Black Widow is a 2021 superhero film, of course, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's directed by Kate Shortland and screenplay by Eric Pearson, of course, based on characters by Marvel Comics.
It stars Scarlett Johansson, Florence Pugh, David Harbour, and Rachel Weisz.
Budget for this movie was about $200 million, and as of right now, box office take of $166.3 million, plus about over $60 million from the Disney Plus release.
The tomato meter rating is 80% with an audience score of 92%.
That's the best scores we've seen in a few weeks. That's actually that's doing pretty well.
It's been a while.
Yeah, I know, right? We've seen a lot of mediocre scores the past few weeks, definitely. So this is the first film in Marvel Studios Phase 5, if they're going to keep with the phase thing. I don't know if they're getting rid of that. But it takes place directly after the events of 2016's Captain America: Civil War. It follows Black Widow Black Widow follows Black Widow, the title character, as and explores not only the consequences of her breaking the Sokovia Accords, but also sheds some light on the origins of this character in this universe. So my initial thoughts for this, I really didn't know what to expect going in. I've liked a lot of the Marvel Studios movies quite a bit, but there's also been a few that were kind of misses for me. I wanted to like this, of course, but I also didn't expect that I would that much. I thought it was going to be just kind of like one of the meh movies that didn't really have a lot going on. And honestly, I'm happy to say that I was pleasantly surprised. I actually really did enjoy this a lot. I thought that the banter between Johansson and Pugh was great. I thought they were hilarious together. I thought there were a lot of good laughs in this. It's, in my opinion, it's no Infinity War or Endgame. It's not on that quality where those are kind of super serious and more serial films to me. But that doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with this. I thought it was great. I thought it was a lot of fun. Yeah, even though I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did, I really did, and it honestly reignited some of my interest to see some more Marvel movies. I talked about it before, I was considering that I may kind of be out after Phase 4, but this completely changed my mind. This is it makes me more excited to see what's coming next. What about you? How'd you feel about
it? Yeah, I had certain expectations about the movie that usually when I have expectations about a film, it kind of messes it up a little bit, or at least messes up my perception of the movie. And I think that what I expected was just some action-packed film with like witty banter and the occasional well-timed joke that hits at just the right moment in just the right way. But I think what happened is I adjusted my expectations in the midst of the movie. And I think that what I've realized about these movies where we give a solo to a character that didn't have one in the Avengers series, I think these are character development films. I think that the point is we're trying to learn about the characters that we didn't get to, and this adds some more depth to them. So while I don't feel like the action was great, but I don't think the action was on par with the other Avengers movies. But that's because I don't think it's supposed to be, and I don't think it has to be. The action scenes were awesome. The choreography was great. The fight scenes were this exact kind of insanity that we're used to expecting from Marvel films, well choreographed, great stunt people. Explosions are great, and they happen in all the right places, and some of the explosions are funny. So yeah, it's cool. It has some of the charm of the Marvel films that we're used to in the MCU, the ones pre-Endgame. But it's also got this sort of agenda to show you a little more about who Natasha actually is. So for me, I felt it was really rewarding to watch. There were a couple parts in the film, as being a fan of the original series, I felt a little misty. So I think, as a Marvel fan, you might not love the movie, but if you like movies, then there's something to be had here. So if you're expecting some kind of action-packed event where like it's just going to be, an extended version of the MCU films Endgame and before, that's not what you're getting. But if you're interested and you want to know about the characters, and Black Widow is a character you want to know more about, adds some depth and complexity, great film, and I got to say yes for this one. whether or not you're a Marvel fan, I think you can get something out of it.
Yeah, and I think unlike a lot of the other Marvel movies, it's kind of cool that you don't really need a lot of preliminary knowledge going into this. You know, so many of their 23 movie saga, it's like, well, shit, if someone wants to pick up at this movie, they need to know this, and this. But this one, I like how you could kind of jump in, watch this as a standalone, and like, you're not really going to be missing much. There are the references there for the people that do know the backstories and everything, but I don't think you're going to miss out on a lot if you don't. And of course, it is interesting that it has a little bit of that middle movie problem where, because it is a prequel to some stuff that has already happened, you kind of like, you know, spoilers for other Marvel movies, but you know that, you know, Black Widow is dead in the current time, but you know how she died, so you know she's going to survive this movie. So there's never a point during this movie where I feared for that main character's life, but it's like that didn't take away from my enjoyment at all, which sometimes in other movies like that, it really does. There's supposed to be a moment of tension, and it's like, oh, well, I know the character's going to get out of this because I know later they're going to be alive. But yeah, in this, I didn't have that feeling at all, which I thought was really cool. Did you, well, yeah, let's go ahead. All right, before going any further, I guess I was going to say something that's not technically a spoiler, but I think I have to mention a spoiler to get there. So let's go ahead and bring out my other favorite superhero, Spoiler Terry right here. And he can ruin the rest of this movie. So yeah, spoiler alerts from this point forward. We will be going into Spoiler Terry.